So, this, my friends, is going to be a very special rant today of all days. Why? Because Liverpool has lost the Carabao Cup final to Newcastle. And I'm so angry, so upset as to how we lost that I'm actually sweating. Give me 1 second, let me just wipe my face real quick. All right, so final score Liverpool 1, Newcastle United 2. And now Newcastle are defending champions. They are the 2025 Carabao Cup champions. They have won their first major silverware in 70 years. Congratulations, Newcastle. You absolutely deserved it. You have played Liverpool off the park twice this season in a 3-3 draw, and now this final here. You played us off the park twice. You man-to-man press. You were physical. You were in different ways penetrative into where your areas of the field that you wanted to exploit. Alexander Isak showed why he was worth 150 million. The midfield of Ali, of Bruno Rise and Joel Linton absolutely put on a call performance as to how English football should be played. Absolutely out physical, outplayed, out tacticalized. The midfield three of Ryan Gravenberch, Alex McAllister, and Dominic. Where do I start? Let's start at the second leg Champions League, where Liverpool played the same team with the same striker, with the same winger, with the same midfield. That team was dreadful. There was little press. Diogo Jota was awful. Luis Diaz was aight. No, you played for 120 minutes plus penalty. I don't know. I'm not a manager, so I'm assuming, I'm guessing that, you know what, seeing that we have played Newcastle before, seeing how they play against the top teams, how about we use a striker that, even though is a maverick, even though some is wayward or sometimes in a way over trying, if that's the saying, in terms of what he's trying to do, he's playing his heart out. How about we use that striker instead? How about we try that? I don't know. How about we try something different? No, I understand. You might be saying, but this team has won before. They've beaten Newcastle 2-0 at Anfield. They have won games over and over. They have shown that they're able to just dig a little bit deeper to get the W's, to get wins. But there comes a time in the season where you can't trust continuity to such an extent that it's to the detriment of your team. And this is what Arne Slot has caused in his first cup final that he's lost. No, Diogo Jota, for the past 4 weeks, I don't remember, has played awful. He has not created chances well. He has not taken his chances very well. He has played awful. You have Darwin Núñez, despite his flaws on the field in terms of finishing, despite that, and sometimes he's rash, sometimes he's over-emotional, but at least you know what you're getting in terms of you're seeing the effort on the field. You are playing a team that is poised to sit back and hit you on the counter and are going to be as physical as possible, right? Then, because you don't use Darwin Núñez, because you're booting long balls, you now struggle in build-up phase from the back. Is pressing, when Tonali is pressing, when Bruno is pressing, when Joel Linton is pressing man-to-man, your go-to and your second tactic is to hit the ball long to Salah, and everyone knows Salah is your main threat. And if you take Salah out of the game, you have a flailing team who does not know exactly what to do. Now, the issue at hand is that Salah is out the game. He's marked by probably 2, 3, 4 men on the wing. Secondly, you don't have Alexander Arnold. You have Jael Kwanzaa. Your midfield is tired with Ryan Gravenberch, with McAllister, with Szoboszlai. And also, you have a front line or additional weapons that should be finding ways to get to one-to-one situations, take advantage of those one-to-one situations, and try to get the ball across as quickly as possible. You don't have that. And so the issue with Slot is continuity is to the detriment of your team. So your selection was wrong. Then also your tactics were also incorrect. So now, because of the team that you have, you don't have the necessary weapons or necessary tactics in place, because also fatigue comes into place. You've played the same team for countless games, over 40 games. And because you're just coming off a Champions League loss, where you play a full 90 minutes in the regular time, then you play additional 30 minutes in extra time, then you went to penalty shootout. So now you're physically trained and you're mentally drained. But yet still, you thought it best to start the same midfield as much as you can. Now, again, I am not a manager, but there has to be questions when it comes on to what can I do to mitigate or nullify or to hide my flaws as much as I can with this team. Ryan Gravenberch was not on it today. Why? Because he's tired. He has played every single league match there is. Now, there are games where he may have come off early, and rightfully so if you're leading by so many and the game is already won, you don't really need it on the pitch. But what it goes to show is that if you mark Ryan Gravenberch or man-to-man mark Ryan Gravenberch on the pitch, there is not enough support, quality support, to aid in the first phase of build-up. So the first phase of your build-up, when you normally have your keeper, your centre-back to each side of the keeper, and then you have your left back and your right back stretching the pitch or inverting as much as you can. And then there is no one like Curtis Jones who is able to hold the ball up, get by or get past the press, bypass the press, so that you can transition into the second phase. And I keep clapping because I'm angry. Transition into the second phase of your build-up so you can get towards the goal. And so now here comes the dilemma. Newcastle gets the first goal. Zonal marking was not good. The press from Liverpool wasn't good. And defending the set piece, I think was on the back post, Dan Burns score. Fine. Then the next goal happens. Alexander Isak scores. The $150 million pound man. That's what I'm calling him. Then the tactic is, and of course the substitutions are, Nunes Curtis comes on. We're going to take off Konate and see what we can get by using a 4-2-4. Doesn't work well. Why? Because teams already know what the game plan is from the get-go. It's interesting because, in a video before that I said that Arne Slot is the best manager in the world, like maybe 2 weeks ago. No, that video just doesn't really make sense because of the key points that I made. One was the adaptability to each game, his communication on the pitch, his passion, and I believe in the development of players. So no, the team has developed. He has developed teams. He has developed players like Ryan Gravenberch. He's communicated his philosophy well across the pitch. But when it comes on, the adaptability is what was not shown in this game. It wasn't shown enough in this game. And that's what hurts me the most, because I'm saying, you know what Newcastle are going to be playing. They're going to play physical, man-to-man press. We're going to get at you and see if you can beat the press, then we know what we need to do. They've done this before. They did it to Arsenal in 2 legs. They did it to Chelsea. They did it to Man U. They did it to us. And then you come back with the same team that you started in the Champions League. Seriously. And so you have conversations on Twitter saying, we have to look at FSG and what they did. But the truth is, it also goes back to what your team plan was coming into this game. Curtis Jones should have started this game. Harvey Elliott, I believe, has earned a spot to start in this game. Now, is it risky to use that? Possibly, yes. But it's also shown that he's mature enough to, when called upon, he's able to make the difference. He did it in the first leg of the Champions League against PSG, and he's done it again. Chiesa has not gotten his fair share. Is it because he's injured? I don't see it. He hasn't gotten game time. What could be the reason as to why Diogo Jota keeps starting? And now, with this loss, the creeps in to the fan base. No, the doubt creeps in because Arsenal won today 1-0. Cuts down the lead to 12 points. They play Fulham, I believe, in next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks time. And then if they beat Fulham, it's down to 9 with 8 games to go, with Liverpool playing at Anfield. And we don't know, and we know how derbies are. And second guessing creeps in. And now you begin to wonder, can Liverpool actually win the league now? You've crashed out of the FA Cup. You've royally crashed out of the Champions League. And you generationally crashed out and lost in the final of the Carabao Cup that is pretty much yours if you don't want it, which clearly they didn't. So now who do we look at? I look at Slot. I look at his super trust in players. It's a thing, I've always said it when it comes down to coaching or managing a team, that yes, you found success with players that has helped along the way, that has helped to get the philosophy and the ethos of the team right. It helps because they understand what you need to do. But it also is a detriment when you overtrust them and play them and run them into the ground as to what is happening now. So, yes, Liverpool hasn't had major injuries, but fatigue is a hell of a thing when the team keeps playing over and over. The difference between Man City and Liverpool, yes, is the finances. Yes, when you can spend any amount of money, but it's also in terms of rotation at key times, at key games. That's what happens. Sir Alex Ferguson was a master of that, in just keeping his team fresh at the right moment so that the team can kick on and win the rest and win the league or win trophies. That's not the case right now because fatigue has now crept in, which may lead to most injuries to key players like Ryan Gravenberch, like Mohamed Salah, like whoever. That can happen. And so now Arne has seen his team. I believe transfers will happen. I believe summer transfers will happen. I would be surprised to see Diogo Jota starting. I'd be surprised if Luis Diaz is still a Liverpool player in the summer. Same with Darwin Núñez. It would shock me. I know that in terms of midfield, they are still looking for at least 2 more players. One person that I would recommend is Pablo Barrios from Atletico Madrid. He wears a number 8. And he's 21. He plays well. He dictates the pace very well. I call him the son of Rod. Very great in defensive awareness. And he's able to manipulate the ball, move the ball around. Wonderful player. I believe that is a player Liverpool should look at in terms of what is needed to start and to make that jump or difference into, raising the ceiling for Liverpool to win. But today was horrible. And the worst time to have this kind of performance is right where it's closer to the end. Right where the finish line is, call it a month away. This is where the performance now begin to come into question with Arne Slot. Is the team doing enough? Salah has done his part. Salah has 50 goals and assists. 54 goals or 54 goals contribution. He has done his part. He's playing for just his contract and to continue as a Liverpool player. Van Dijk has done his part as best as he can. But the rest of the team has to come into play. And I believe, as of right now, Federico Chiesa needs to have at least 2 games where he's able to start and see what happens. Just give him a run of games. Harvey Elliott, the same thing. Some of these players need to be rested. They can come on as substitutes. Is Liverpool team that poor? Is the quality that bad that you're unable to rotate the team against other Premier League opponents? They have no reason to do so now because they're only playing 1 game per week for the rest of the time. So it hurts. It doesn't really hurt that much, but it hurts more as to how we played and what could have been avoided. That's what hurts the most. I know we have Arsenal fans saying, if they're lucky, it's just 12 points. If a healthy Arsenal would have, yeah, maybe, but you're not. It matters not. You're still points behind. You're still trailing. I know Liverpool needs to pull up their socks because you are at the stage of the season where the finish line is at hand. It's literally right there. And your job right now is to score goals and win and defend as best as possible. Slot, I believe, will look himself in the mirror and say, what did I do wrong? Could I have played Curtis Jones instead of Dominic Szoboszlai or Alex McAllister or even Ryan Gravenberch? Did I need to play Diogo Jota because you're playing with pretty much 10 men on the field? Awful performance. But man, I'm so upset. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, please subscribe. Let's have a conversation in the chat. I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments so that we can talk about it. Let me hear what your emotions are like in this. Until next time, guys. Peace.